Flamenco it is a brief history involved. Flamenco is a folk dance that came from the Gypsy people, or now they're called Roma people, the Roma people of Spain, so specifically of that country. So it's just like salsa was a music form that people danced to in their homes and their families, flamenco was the same thing. It was a form of singing and dancing that was a family experience, which was extracted from that family experience and put onto a stage so that they could make money. Hi, my name is Phoebe Vernier, and I was a professional flamenco dance teacher and instructor for 30 years, from 1982 until my retirement in 2012. I studied mostly in the U.S. with people who had studied in Spain, or Spaniards and Gypsies that would come here to the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and teach. And also went to LA to study. I've toured in 30 states, and 1, 2, 3, 4 different national tours, 5 tours. I think the highlights of my career would be being selected to dance with a company from Spain called Compañía Noche Flamenca. They were from Madrid, with Soledad Barrios and Isabel Bayón. Highlight would have been being featured on the cover of Dance magazine. The only 4 other flamenco dancers have been featured on the cover of Dance magazine. That was in 2001. And the other highlights would be just being a dance teacher. 2 days ago I went to see a Shakespeare festival. One of my students was the lead. She was Lady Macbeth, and she was they were doing a sound check and she walked down the aisle and I was like, hi, and she was like, her jaw just dropped. She's like, oh my God. That is a highlight every time.
I had no idea when I met Phoebe that she had had this fantastic, long-standing flamenco career, because we met through gospel choir. When I started this documentary, I thought it was going to be about Phoebe's career in flamenco. But I realized partway through that the real story here is about Phoebe herself. Phoebe was so full of joy and gospel choir together that I had no idea the transition that was really going on inside her life and in her spirit.
I transitioned out of dancing flamenco because I developed a spinal injury. I have 3 ruptured discs in my neck, so I'm in chronic pain. I was drawn by a Mahalia Jackson song that I didn't even realize was gospel. And so I got this compilation, and there was this Mahalia Jackson song called Move On Up a Little Higher. I'm sitting in this living room, packing them up, and I'm like, what's this song? So I played the song, and I played it again, played it again and again and again, and I was like, what is this music? You know, I was like, wow, I gotta know. The director of the dance studio where I was teaching for 10 years, she would go to Wings of Glory, gospel choirs, Christmas events. And so she's like, yeah, you want to go? She would tell people, you want to go? And of course, I was always busy or doing other things. I was like, I'll go. I was at kind of a low point after my son left and with my neck injury, I had to take a break. And I thought I just needed some physical therapy, but it turned out, I needed to take a break. So I said, well, I'll have some time on my hands. So I went to the Wings of Glory gospel choir rehearsal. I was very just detached from everyone around me because I was in a place of a lot of pain, not just physical pain, but it was an identity crisis. So I was going through an identity crisis once I realized that this was not, I had an MRI and I realized I had 3 herniated discs, not just a little, tweak.
Wings of Glory wasn't enough gospel choir for Phoebe. She wanted to get back to the roots of gospel, and so she eventually joined the NorCal chapter of the GMWA.
I remember that first rehearsal, the very first rehearsal, and I was just like by myself and walking in there, and I was so afraid. I was afraid because it was a cultural experience that I wasn't used to. because I was going through my identity crisis and what I was going through, and just how the music resonated with me, and the voices, and how powerful the voices were, and how I cried a lot. I would have to stop.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. You remember when we went there together, the first couple of rehearsals that we went to together, I just cried.
Church. It was
right?
so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming, and it's also because we're talking about people who have great faith. Mm-hmm. They're not just hobbyists.
Mm-hmm.
They are, it's generational. The healing part, of course, my faith deepened immensely during that time, and I experienced this huge surge of faith and connectivity with the Christian practice, Christian faith, which I still maintain to this day. And so the healing, it's a positive message, and it's Jesus' message of love. And through love is healing, self-love, and about strength, finding self-love and strength and faith and feeling that you can trusting the universe again.
A dancer's work isn't tangible, like a painter's painting or a writer's book. It is alive in the dancer's body, and it is a living art, channeled for but a brief time in that body. It's like the wind, a warm summer breeze, a sirocco, blowing in from North Africa, that comes and then goes. So amazingly special when it is. She dances, and then she is gone, like the wind. When I first stopped dancing, I had to stop, and I continued to teach, and then I had to stop teaching, which was hard. But some years have passed, and I went through some depression, but came out of the depression, and I've just realized that I can manage exercise. I can do yoga, I can walk. I can't run, but I can exercise in yoga, and modifying yoga has been almost is satisfying to me on some levels as being able to dance.
I guess, I realized that for me, flamenco was a very profound experience, and it was about a soulful experience as well. And so it translated over into gospel as well. And so what it is, in gospel, we also have, you have your feet involved, and you have your hands are involved, and you have a lot of counter time rhythms that are involved. So I found it really interesting that I could do some footwork, I could engage my feet, and I could also engage, because in flamenco you have the palmas, right? I could engage my hands. I was like, whoa, I can stomp and I can clap. I was like, whoa.
I thought I had to give up exercise, but in the end, I just had to do less exercise.
Transformations aren't easy, like butterflies in the cocoon. It hurts, and they have to push that cocoon out, and they get in that cocoon, and it hurts. You have to allow yourself to experience the pain, but knowing you're working towards when you can open, the butterfly can fly away. If we don't spend time examining our inner workings and being in touch with our inner workings, how we think and how we feel, why am I feeling this, why am I thinking this, that we just kind of stumble through our life from event to event, from milestone to milestone, and that if we can become aware of the inner stuff, then we have to acknowledge that we can't just be one-dimensional for our entire life, that we are going to change, and in order to change, we have to grow. In order to grow, we have to learn. In order to learn, we have to take time to try and ask a question and wait for an answer, because we don't know the answers.
Phoebe eventually completed that transition out of flamenco and into a new career. She's a medical assistant, and in this way, she helps people to heal and go through the kind of transformation that she needed to go through. I'm in a kind of transformative process myself, and I'm only now realizing how much Phoebe inspires me to keep moving on. As we reconnected through these interviews, I realized that subconsciously I had been living out many of the very things that Phoebe had taught me over the years.
Being a single mother is, a single parent is a very difficult thing, but it's not impossible. Like most things that are difficult, they're not impossible. More than anything, it was just I compromised a lot, but I didn't give up. So I didn't go to Europe and live in Spain, but I did have this experience in San Francisco. Sometimes you think that your dream you can't reach your dream because you can't do it at an international level, but you can do it at a local level. You can think big and you can live small and have the same effect.